This edition of Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes is brought to you by Mission Pro Wrestling. Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell is coming up on November 6th live from Rudo, Texas. Get your tickets now. They're available on the Mission Pro Wrestling Twitter page. And of course, you can watch it if you are not in the Texas area live on Title Match Network. Now, without further ado, Tru Heels BTR.
I like to collect things that fans gave me. Shit. Alright, so I haven't shown this to anybody. So this is one. He made it in Tennessee. He painted all there. I had it for like two years. On this one of the guys made it.
What?
I really want to get it made, but it's really expensive because this is our like one of a kind. But this is a Cobra Moon. He like paint them and everything.
What? Are you serious?
Yes.
Wait, that's fan made? And I like the Yoda. I like the Yoda in the background too. Oh, so sweet.
But yeah, it's like so funny.
Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are back once again with a brand new interview. This one is one I've been very much looking forward to. This is Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes with the NWA National Wrestling Alliance World Women's Champion. She is one of the best women's wrestlers or wrestlers, male or female, in the world today. In my opinion, for 2020, the Women's Wrestler of the Year. You heard it here first. This is the one, the only, Thunder Rosa. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time.
You're very welcome. I appreciate your patience because I was late.
Not a problem ever. And most importantly, she is the mastermind, the brains behind Mission Pro Wrestling. Tru Heel Heat is proud sponsors of Mission Pro Wrestling. So we're going to talk about Mission Pro. We're going to talk about her career, the NWA, AEW, and everything in between. Before we get into that, push the like button, show your support for this video, share it with all your wrestling fans and friends, and of course the iCard down at the bottom, you can push that to subscribe and the bell to stay notified for all the great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. And put your comments down below if you have anything to say to Thunder Rosa. And I know her, we're gonna plug her social media so you can reach out to her because she is great with fans. So Thunder Rosa, how are you, first of all?
I'm great. I'm getting ready for a long day full of everything and anything.
So I gotta ask, first of all, it's been a crazy year for 2020. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. How have you been dealing with like the changes to not only professional wrestling but the world around us with this crazy year that it's been?
I've changed my ways on everything: training, perception of life, friendships, connection with other people. So I just adapted to what I needed to do. So with that said, as you've seen, that 2020 has been a very successful year for me. Has been a very successful year for my company with all this COVID situation. We were able, thankfully, we live in Texas, and a lot of the things here are 75% open. So that really allow us an opportunity to further our dreams of doing something different, and that's what we're doing right now. So I cannot be more thankful that this year, regardless of all the setbacks, it really allowed me to rediscover, adapt, and change some of the stuff that I needed to change in order to become more successful as a professional wrestler, as a businesswoman, and also as an athlete.
Awesome. So I know you're living now in Texas, here in the United States, but you're originally from Tijuana, Mexico. How is things going over there? If you've been like keeping in touch with everything around the world, how's it been going at your home in your home country? Yeah.
Rough. My parents are over there. I actually went there early July. I went there with Holiday. We went to my house in Tijuana. We went to Arizona, took my parents to a little family trip. Since a lot of things are closed in California, I think one of the main problems and the main issues that a lot of people are facing is depression and hopelessness because of we're stuck in our houses. And California has been hit really, really hard. My both of my parents lost their jobs, and my dad was forced to early retirement, which he was, not ready for it.
Yeah.
So it's been hitting him really, really hard. So I tried as much as possible to call him 3, 4 times a week and see how they're doing. And when I can, bring them over or just take them on a little trip. It doesn't cost that much for me, and it just it just helped them like get distracted a little bit. And yeah, my sisters have been struggling a little bit with their jobs too because they had to like. My other sister works at a school, so she had to do distance learning and all the stuff that she needs to do from home. And then my other sister, she works in the restaurant business, and I mean, she said that the business dropped significantly, so it's been really hard for her to make a living. So I honestly I'm really blessed because that's the reason why I adapted on everything and really focusing on connecting people through online because this is the way that we're doing things now. Even with shows, empty empty arena shows, and that's as soon as things opened up, that's what I started doing. And I like I said, I am so blessed that money has been coming in the whole entire pandemic. That we're busting our butts to like create more of a bigger platform on social media, and I mean the numbers speak for themselves. Like I'm almost reaching to 100,000 followers on Instagram, 60,000 followers on Twitter. My Facebook page is growing. I don't use it as much, but I should. YouTube is growing too, and it's monetized. So nothing is impossible. You just have to put the work. And right now, I'm in like so all the stuff that I can still, create revenue. It is very hard because I want to make sure it's done correctly and that is done right. And once I get all my stuff set up for whatever projects I have that are very big, then I'm gonna start focusing on more on my brand. But right now, like you said, I have so many different hats, and it's important to like give my best to each and every single one.
And you've been doing just great. You're one of the best when it comes to wrestlers in the business. You're one of the best when it comes to really engaging with the fans. Like I love the way that you speak to the fans. You're always answering different questions. So that's one of the best things about you. But you kind of to talk about like your time from going from Mexico to here. When did you come over to the United States, and how was that like transition for you?
I was 17 years old. I went to San Diego for school on my last year of high school. It was a very hard transition. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had very high expectations of what I thought things were gonna be like, and then things were not what I thought they would be. Things that I thought it was gonna be easy that weren't. Was not allowed to go to college right away. Like I wanted to go to university, but I had to go to community college. So learning the ropes, learning the steps, relearning another another culture, regardless if it was in San Diego, like of course, learn the history. I got to learn everything and become, I guess, respecting the new culture, and not without sacrificing my beliefs and what where I came from. So I think that was the hardest part for me. So that was very difficult for me, and it took me many years for me to like accept and love where I come from. I think that's where my whole I guess the love for Chicano history, Mexican American, all that stuff grew from that, and like the very strong female figures that I had as teachers that really made me gravitate more towards like leadership in school and stuff like that. My history teacher helped me a lot. She actually wanted to pay for my college. My English teacher, she took me to community college to sign up for college. And like those are the women that I was like I looked up to. And then I have another teacher, my other English teacher, my ESL teacher. She will have slumber parties at her house because we had a group called Mecha,
Mhm.
uh, and we were organized our other Mexican American students, and we had parties and raised money and raised money for scholarships and stuff like that for people that were graduating. So that really, again, those are the things that I did that cemented a lot of my my belief of grassroots movements, of grassroots community stuff, and that's the reason why you see me creating, along with other people, different organizations that are going to help underrepresented um, groups such as women and women of color in the wrestling business. All of that from where I started when I was 17 to now. It's just part of why I'm so passionate about creating change.
That's awesome to hear. So, how is it like? How did you kind of discover this whole world of professional wrestling? Starting from coming over here, and like, how did you get into wanting to like train to become a professional wrestler?
That didn't happen until I was 20, my late 20s. I watched wrestling, but I was like not an avid. Oh, it's Tuesday or it's Monday. Let me watch wrestling. I mean,
Yeah.
it was if my husband was watching it, I will watch it because he wouldn't let me change the channel. So, when I was 17, my cousins will watch it, and I'll be, you guys are watching garbage. Like, what is this? Like, I
Yeah.
thought it was like the most ridiculous thing ever. And then I went to my very, very first show when I was 18 in Mexico at a lucha show. I thought it was fun, but it was like, let me go every weekend. And then I had the opportunity to go to WrestleMania and all do the WWE stuff in Houston, Texas, on WrestleMania 25 because my husband's friend, they were all like really big wrestling fans, and he's like, "You want to go?" And I went, and I thought that was really cool. But not until I was 25, 26 when we started going to indie shows in Oakland, California. That's when my spark for professional wrestling grew, because it was not because of the moves, not because of the great matches I was watching. No, it was because of the entertainment part, in the fact that I, as a fan, was taken away, and all my reality was, put as soon as I got into the door. It was like it was just me and wrestling, and just me having fun, and me like for those 3 hours I was standing up and I was so tired, and I was like, it was on Hook Slam, so I was like all the weed, smoke, everything. It was like I like the environment because it was an adult one. It was different. It wasn't like your typical PG anything, and the characters were outlandish, and it was like out of this world, and I post pictures sometimes from like my when my husband and I were fans, and we just had a lot of fun. Like a lot, all the wrestlers know who I was and who my husband was, because we will sit on a corner all the time, and we enjoy it very much. And it wasn't until we went to APW in Hayward, California, where I discovered that professional wrestling was so dope, and and I can actually be part of it. So they offer a trial. Went to the trial, and the rest is history.
Awesome, awesome. You just spoke to my soul right there. I went to California 3 years ago, and I went for like a New Japan show, and I discovered Hood Slam, and I was just like, this is like a college party meets professional wrestling. Like it is something, and there were so many fans that weren't really wrestling fans that just went to it, and it just sucks you right in. So I definitely understand where you're coming from.
That is for me now as a professional wrestler, catching people's attention that are not your typical wrestling fan. And a lot of women are not your typical wrestling fan. It's like their husband, their boyfriend, the ones that love wrestling are like, dude, just come over, just come and watch the show. And then when they come and watch, like especially Mission Pro, like they fall in love. Like there's been a couple ones that were like, dude, I brought my girlfriend. She watching. She's like, yeah, like every time you're on YouTube, every time you're in somewhere, she just wants to sit with me and watch it. The same with like little girls. We had so many little girls coming to the show, and that's what we're trying to attract. Like we're trying to attract your non-typical female fans that are not into wrestling, but they see the wrestling and they're like, holy crap, these girls can actually go. Like the story is engaging and evolving, and the characters are awesome. So it's that's what we want to get to. So for me, that's how Hoodlum was. And then from there on, it's just like, okay, like as a professional wrestler, that's what I try to do all the time, just to engage other women.
Love to see it. So you go from Mexico, you come over here to the United States, you train, you discover this world of professional wrestling, you train, and then you make your way over to Japan. You work with Stardom. How is like I always hear this from fans as well as wrestlers. What's like the biggest thing, the changes from being a fan in the United States to being a fan in Japan, and training and developing yourself in Japan as far as professional wrestling?
The fans in Japan, especially if they are like fans of the promotion, they go to every single show. You see them sitting in the same place, see their faces. It's like the funniest thing. And they're very dedicated. A lot of them are sponsors, so like they will invite the wrestlers to go out and eat at a party or whatever, and everything is paid for. So that right there was like it was different. It was kind of cool. Like, and they're not being like creepers or none of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's culture. So that was really cool. And I because of that, I created a lot of long lasting relationships. To now we check on each other every 3 months. Like every time I go, we go for dinner. We
Nice.
we go on trips. Like they become like family. Um, so for me, that's very, very different from here. I mean, even here, I have a couple fans that they've been following me since I wasn't even a wrestler. And I go to town and I know them for years. We go to dinner. I send them like Christmas cards. They send me Christmas cards, PO box. They send gifts to my son, my dog, my husband. It's like they become part of the Thunder Rosa family. So, but they earn your trust and they earn your respect, and that's how you happen. In Japan, definitely, like I said, definitely, it's like their fans are loyal, man, loyal. 99.9% of them are males. Very few
Yeah.
females. Unless you go to DDT or you go to New Japan and all the ladies are, throwing their panties to like the male wrestlers. But usually there's not that many female wrestling fans out there too. So it's very, very interesting. And also another observation that I've seen for a long time, and this has been like this is part of their culture. They really like young women.
Yeah.
They want young women all the time. Like the ladies, the girls that I started training with when I was out there like 6 years ago, they were like 8, 9, 10 years old, and we were like drop kicking them, and they're like, all right, and they want to. Thank God there's no like CPS here, and I was like joking. Wrestle that. Go CPS! Oh, I forgot there's no CPS. Yeah, and Holly, I was like, dude, shut up, stop saying that. I was like, I don't care, So, but yeah, like the girls are really, really young, very, very young. Once you like commit to professional wrestling, dude, you have no life. Kayfabe is all what it's all about. You can't get married. If you get married, it's pretty much you kind of like have to retire. You can't have kids, and it's rough. Like being a female wrestler, you have to dedicate your life to the entertainment business and keeping kayfabe like alive. I mean, there's been many girls I can't mention their names because of I want to be respectful to that. They had like we were go to like a town and they had their boyfriend and they're like don't but they will just go out with their boyfriend, never posting pictures of the boyfriend, never put like it's kayfabe like 101, bro. Like it's that shit is real over there. So my respects to that. That's a lot of commitment. Like that's why like when I go out there I was like, okay, I got you. And then I remember my first story. Don't say that you're married. Don't say that you have kids. I lied.
You gotta lie to play with the kayfabe out there. It seems.
I lied about my age the first time, and then they're like, "Oh, so you're older?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just put my for like the data. I just put my sister's birthday. She's 3 years younger than I am, so that I did. Yeah, I was 26, so I said I was 23, and I looked like I was 23. So, but yeah, so it's like that's kind of hard. But again, it's like all those experiences that I had at a very young age in wrestling, they really make me realize how important it is to have respect, especially here in America, to have respect for every single woman. Not important, like not really taking in consideration how old they are, where they from, the size of their size, their background. What matters is their talent, their passion, and the dedication for this business. And that's a mentality that we as future professional wrestlers we need to change. I mean, we can learn so much from people that have been wrestling for a long time and they're being able to stay in shape and everything. One of the ones that come to my mind is Mickey James. I mean, she's still in WWE and she still putting freaking great matches and she looks way better than some people that are on TV right now. And she has a kid and she is married and she loves this business. So just having that respect, to the women that step in the ring And I can tell you a lot, like in Mexico, a lot of the women, they wrestle until like literally more. Some of them are late 40s, late 50s, and some of them can wrestle better than some of the young cats, you know. So, but it's like having that respect for those women too. It's important because again, a lot of them, they take their time to teach us and give us positive lessons on how to have a great match. And a perfect example for was that Rosy Moreno. When I met her, she was very good to me, and she like tried to teach me a couple stuff and tried to help me on making those matches better. And Lady Apache, that's another one, very positive female figure that I met in Mexico, and I work with her here. I had the pleasure and the honor to work here, and like those are the women that motivate me. Kimura-san is another one. When I was out there in Japan, we were really like a real group. Like we will go to dinner, care of us. Every time I go to Japan, she's always texting me just to make sure that I don't need anything. And we meet, and she continues to take care of me. Those are the things that I take with me when I come back to America. Be like, there is women that are willing to help other women to make women wrestling better, no matter what age they are. Because a lot of them were like Kimura-san, she's in her 40s, and she like put into us that it is important that you have to have passion, you have to have respect for the business. The same with Lady Apache, or a Medusa for that say. So, so it is important that we have those female figures that not necessarily are like your typical ones, but are those that are trailblazers and make the change. Like Kimura-san, she was a single mother. She was married. Her kid was a mixed kid. Rest in peace, Hannah. And she took her everywhere. And she didn't allow her situation and her stigma for her not to make a name for herself. And she did it, and she retired, and she's very respected. So the same way, like I said, a lot of the women in Mexico, all of them have kids. All of them were carrying their kids with them. With the struggle, because they believe in professional wrestling and they wanted to keep working on their craft.
That brings me on to you coming back here to the States and Lucha Underground. So first of all, how did you get in contact with the people at El Rey for Lucha Underground?
I've been so blessed that every place that I have worked, they have contacted me. I'm a true believer that if it is in your life book, I always say that this is like the 5th or 10th time that I say it. If it is on your life book, things will come to you, but you have to be patient. And when they come to you, you need to be ready. I wasn't ready for Lucha Underground, but I did my best on the first matches that I had at Lucha on season 2. They weren't the best. I hate them. I wish I could be like who I am now, but I didn't. This is part of my journey. So I was really blessed and really happy that I was part of it. I thought it was gonna come up to more, but I didn't. That's the only thing that was a setback of being part of Lucha Underground, and the contract. It was really sucky. So, but I learned a lot from that experience. Not to be a bitch. If I wanted to get my things. You don't have to act and be a diva or like do that. To me now that I see it, I mean, I see, well, I guess everybody that wants to get something, like they have to act that way. Like superstars. I don't. Like if you don't want to give it to me, fine. I'll find it. I'll make sure that my hard work is going to be so undeniable that you're going to have to give it to me. And that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years. That, not getting stuck in contracts, having lawyers ruin your contract. Guys, make sure you do that. Those are like the negative. The positive definitely was learning how to work TV, meeting and networking with so many different people from all over the world, and and again being exposed to Hollywood, which a lot of people like shy away, and as soon as you put the camera, they're just like, what am I supposed to do? Like that to me was that was golden. It was golden.
That's awesome. So was this like in Lucha Underground, like your one of your first experiences like intergender wrestling? like a lot of the times that I saw you wrestling, it was in the ring with a lot of guys. So how was the difference with, you know, in Stardom, it's nothing but female wrestlers, and then you come over to Lucha Underground and you're in the ring with males. You're a former trios champion there. So how was that?
You can do a bunch of cool stuff, like anything you can imagine. Like a lot of those guys have been working for so long, and they're like great bases. So if you want to jump from like the 10th floor, they probably will catch you. You know, if you want to rock around from like I don't know from anywhere, they will catch you. If you want to do a dive, they will catch you. It was like I did a lot of stuff that I would never do anywhere else in the world. First of all, second of all, like I said, it was a great learning experience. There was a very different style of wrestling that a lot of people were not used to it, and it was very fast paced and get all your shit in and your greatest hits and make sure that they're like crisp and they look great. And everybody was competing against each other to see who was bigger and better and did cooler stuff. So again, that's what you need to become the best in the world. Because if you're up with people you are the best in the room, you're not gonna grow. You have to move to other places and where you feel uncomfortable. When you feel you have to work harder. When you feel that in order to make the division better, you have to step up and leave your ego aside and work harder and make it better. Like for me, that's like the biggest lesson in there. That you have, in order to be with the big boys, you have to train and you have to put all your eggs in that training basket because you have to. When lights on, you gotta show up and perform.
It's so true. You came in like the second season of Lucha Underground, like you said, but the other big addition in that is a Mexican legend in Rey Mysterio. How was it meeting Rey Mysterio, and what type of things did you learn from him being in Lucha Underground at the same time as him?
He's very passionate. He's a very, very humble person. I think he's one of the most humble individuals I met, and his moves, like his matches, were like perfection. I don't remember him botching anything. So when he got there, he performed. He did what he knew how to do best. That was entertaining. That was engaging. That everything. But I remember most of it all was that he was very humble and he was a very family oriented. His wife was always with him. His kids will come to the show all the time, and it was really sweet. And his wife was one of the sweetest women in the world. So it's really refreshing to find people that are that big, that are that famous, that have had it all, but they still take time to talk to like people like me that were just starting and he will take people out of the ring and stuff like that. So it was really cool to see that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. And so from there, from Lucha Underground, you get contacted by Women of Wrestling. I have to ask you about this because Jeannie Buss is the head of Women of Wrestling. I'm a huge Los Angeles Lakers fan, so just got to put that out there. NBA champions. So how did
like that will happen on 2020? The Lakers won. Wow.
Gotta love it, for Kobe, absolutely. So, how is it when they got in contact with you, being on that platform of Access TV? It's a little bit of a level up from being on El Rey, which is only in certain areas. Access TV has a little bit more national platform.
I don't think I don't know about the ratings on Access TV. I don't know. It was like a weird thing. I only had 3 matches because it was Cover Moon, and we were doing a again. Me and my cross promotional stuff. It seems like it's true. We did it. It was kind of weird. I did 3 matches, same gimmick, and then later on, I told him I was getting out of my contract, and then we created Serpentine. But it was hard. I mean, we promoted it a lot. The matches were good. It's just it's a different environment. I mean, in paper it looks great, right? Like the whole mission statement and everything. So everything that I have learned that was negative is more of a life experience, a life lesson. All right, what am I going to take from this, and how can I change it in the future for other women that are going to be working after me? Okay, what you need to do. This is what we need to do. This is the type of women that we have to have in our our team. This is the type of men that we need to have in our team. This is the type of supporters that we need to have in our team. And they need to believe in what we're doing. Not only just dropping money, but they need to believe what we're doing. And what we're doing, what we're saying we're doing, that's what we're doing. So, yeah. So, I work in WoW for 2 seasons. The first season I only have 3 matches. The second season I came with no expectations. I was like, I'm just gonna sit around, watch everybody have matches. If like the young girls need any extra help, I'll be there. They gave me 7 matches, man. And I was like, oh my god! And I was getting ready for it. I was just like, I'm gonna be dead when I come back. And I think I think they were aired. I'm not sure the last season if it was aired or not because of the whole transition with Impact buying Access TV.
Yeah.
And it happened, so they drop us. They drop WoW. So WoW doesn't have a network right now, so they're kind of like a standstill. But they, like I said, they met wonderful, wonderful people there. I just remember one of my favorite characters. It was a little polemic because David McClain, he's very conservative. It was Katie Forbes and her ring wraps. They're all great, and she played it off. And man, I love Katie Forbes. She is so funny. It's like my feed is always full of twerking and big butts.
She's got so much energy. I just love it.
Yes, and more. She's a hardworking girl, man. Like all this stuff. Yeah. But a lot of people be like, well, she's only twerking. A lot of that stuff that she's doing, it takes time, takes money. She put it on her craft. Her craft is twerking. All big booty girls, like that's her niche right now, and that's what's making her money. I'm proud of her because, she loves who she is, and she's putting it out there on social media, and she's asking people to accept her for who she is, and Rob Van Dam is living his best life, and so I mean it is really cool. That's what I'm saying. It's like having women that accept you for who you are and accept going to your niche. That's great, and her platform is professional wrestling, and she's still on Impact. Who else it was like made an impact on me? Well, I met a lot of girls right there in that I still work with, so it's really cool to see them succeed after we were there. And like some of them are signed Impact, some of them are signed AEW, some of them are still like working on the indie. So we're all kind of like doing our own thing, but it's really cool to see that.
So I got to actually see you live with Ring of Honor was the first time with Holodead and the Twisted Sisters. Tell us about like that whole tag team. How you guys just have that look. It's one of those like signature looks of any female tag team that I've ever seen out on the scene. That I just when you were announced for Ring of Honor, I was like, yeah, I got to go to that show because I've been seeing you guys online. I haven't been able to see you guys live, so I had to go out there and get it and go and see it myself. But how did you guys come together like that?
It was destiny. It was destiny. He's the one who suggested that we should tag because we were always wrestling each other and we were like tired of seeing the same freaking man. We're made together now. Then we tagged for a minute, and then she came and moved in Oakland, so we were like doing a lot of tagging together and traveling together. We went to Stardom together as a tag team in 2016. Then from there, not even 2 weeks, we went to New Jersey. We were out there, hustling and bustling for like 3-4 weeks. Then she stayed at my house, and then we were just like traveling as much as we could, driving, planes, whatever we could get. And for us, it was really important. I like preach to her. That's another one that we needed to demand respect, and we needed to demand a space because we knew that what we had was money. I mean, you don't see tag teams like that. Everybody's very cutesy looking. We are like, she is a very dark character, and I'm like, that's super dark, but I'll whip your ass if you don't get in. That was like the dynamic that we had, and it was natural. It's very hard to find tag teams that have a very natural dynamic. And even in the ring, if somebody forgets something, you don't even know because we're like talking and kind of like playing off each other's energy. So not only that, we're like, she's one of my best friends. So every time we were in the ring, we were there to show that women's wrestling is not just like pirouettes and like and little slaps and hair pulls. Like we're gonna be there, and we're gonna demand your attention, plain and simple. So and some people really loved it. With like last time that we were together in Shimmer, people were blown away. We had a match with the Joshis, and they were like, "Oh my god, that was the best tag team match we ever had in many many years." It was like, yes, because we know how to work tag team. We have worked tag team for a couple years, and tag team psychology is sometimes is a little hard in timing too.
Yeah.
You can say whatever, you can be a champion or whatever, but I've seen some of those matches, and I'm very critical. I'm very very critical of professional wrestling. Very critical. Why? Because people are very critical with me because
Mm-hmm.
they're really high. So I uphold that expectation to absolutely everybody, especially when you're a champion. I don't care if you're a champion of the rinkety ass promotion across the street from my house. You still, so you better train like a champion. You better look like a champion. You better be better than me. You better be better than me, because like that's just me. I always
Love it.
I always demand excellence because that's what is demanded from me. Always, 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 always. And even now that I'm not wrestling right now, I'm busting my ass in the ring. I'm busting my ass in MMA. I'm busting my ass in striking, because when I come back, I want to look and feel better than anybody else. Because I'm la mera mera, and this is what I bring. And when you step in the ring, you're stepping in the ring, in my territory. Regardless of what the outcome is, it's my territory. So you're gonna get a flavor of my taquitos.
I love that whole vibe that you have about it being your ring, and that was the vibe that I first got when I saw you on NWA Power. NWA Power, you just, from the moment you came in, from the vignettes that they showed before you had your in-ring debut on that show, to coming into that arena there, you just had the presence of you're a star and you're gonna steal the show. So how has it been, like, this whole, I think like you've had a real rise of popularity ever since appearing on NWA Power, becoming the NWA World Women's Champion. How has been this like rise of popularity, and what's been the biggest difference for you from everywhere else you've worked before NWA?
That rising of popularity, it hasn't like, I mean, it's been cool. Like I've been selling more merch for sure, my match stuff, but my mentality hasn't changed. It's never changed. It's been the same from the moment I started. I worked just as hard as I used to work when I was a rookie.
Yeah.
That's my mentality of becoming one of the greatest hasn't stopped. Just because I have a strap, or I had two straps, or I had three straps, doesn't make me better than anybody else. There's still a lot of work that I need to do. There's a lot of girls that are more athletic than I am, that are a lot younger than I am, but they cannot outwork me in every single aspect of this business. They can't, because they don't have the drive, and they don't have the hunger that I still have, that fire that I have. I haven't achieved all my goals. I have worked in almost every single promotion. Yeah, that's cool, but I'm not there yet, man. It's like I feel like I'm in station work. Like I achieved, and I went to AEW. Then I'm like sitting right now, like I'm like rebranding, redoing, adapting, and all this stuff. It's like I'm not there yet, man. I am not there yet. And even if I never get a big contract, fine. People are gonna remember my name, and not necessarily because of like you're the greatest wrestler. It's because we created change, and we helped create change, and we brought opportunities. We brought people together even more than what it is now. Because everybody thinks that just because you're in Japan and London and everything, we're separated. No, we all know each other, one way or another. But then we haven't found like that bond that can bring us all together. And I think it's about to happen, man. I'm very very excited.
I just love it. I just love your energy. Your energy just exudes everything that you're talking about. You say about wanting more, and I've heard you in the past in different interviews that you've had a time where WWE did offer you that big contract, but you wanted more out of your career. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the contract was for a referee. I was at that point. I was at that crossroads when I just left Lucha Underground. I didn't have any other offerings. Like it was kind of like one of those like valleys, and I'm like, man, I ain't got shit. I was already training, but they offered me a contract to become a professional fighter, so I took it. I needed a challenge, a complete challenge, and a complete like uh, changed my gears and my mindset of like what I want to do as a professional athlete. And that was one thing that I never experienced was to be to like literally leave, breathe, and eat and crap your sport, like because you're about to get into a fight, and if you don't get ready, you can get killed, like literally. So I was like, all right, cool, let's have this, let's do this and see what happens. And that's when WWE called, and because I asked a friend, hey, dude, you know what? I'm ready to hang the boots. Like, ain't nothing right now for me. Like, I'm about to have a fight. And you know if any referees? I mean, I have done that. And then he's like, yeah. And then they contacted me, and then we talk about numbers. And then my husband, after I called my husband, he was a little upset. He's like, dude, you've been training for 4 months to become a professional fighter. Are you gonna dump that because of this much money? Remember, once you sign this contract, you don't have independence. You don't have the freedom to be you. You belong to a company for many years. Then another thing, we gotta move. Remember, we got a son, we have a dog, and I have a job. You gotta think about that stuff. Like, you are not alone. If you were single, yeah, whatever. God bless you. I'll see you in Orlando. You gotta think things. And I was like, no, you're right. And I was like, I mean, if you would decide to go, fine, I'll be there with you, 100%. But just remember, before you sign anything that is gonna put a hold on things that you have worked on things that you're passionate about, remember, you might get depressed and you might not like what you're doing. I have like a secure paycheck, and he's like, sometimes it's not about the money, and you know this, Melissa. We were organizing people, and we didn't have a penny in our bank account, but we were happy because we were helping others. So remember, your mission is probably something else, but we haven't discovered it yet. Be patient. And then he's like getting pissed off, and I get pissed off, and then the sign. There's always like life give you signs, and sometimes we're blind to see them. But there was a hurricane called Dorian. Dorian, what a name, Dorian, right?
Yeah.
Right. So my trial kept getting postponed, and they're like, we're gonna have to postpone into another month. And at that month, that's when I started fight camp, because Combate Americas was like, you gotta sign the contract. And I was like, so I signed the contract with Combate. NWA called me the next day and asked me if I was interested in doing NWA. And then I told WWE, you know what, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate that you gave me the chance, that you did all this for me, but I don't think at this moment I'm interested in doing this tryout. If there's anything in the future, please let me know. Let's keep the door open. Yada yada yada. They are like, thank you for your honesty, and we we look forward to work with you in the future. And I became an MMA fighter. I lost. That's okay. Learning experience. I didn't die. and then I became a wrestler for NWA, and I learned some of the most wonderful experience, and meet some of the most wonderful people, and some of the most wonderful friends that I still talk to right now. And in January of this year, another goal that I had was to become an NWA champion, which I was not expecting, honestly. But I became the NWA Women's Champion.
The first Mexican-born NWA Women's Champion. So that's an accomplishment for sure. You're making history.
And in Japan, I became the first foreigner to win the International Princess Championship, which I had to relinquish, and it's still mine. And over there, the ladies are gonna fight. But when I come back, a couple girls are gonna get their ass whipped. So I'm getting this.
Come back, they don't do ladder matches much in Japan. Why not? Why not make it a ladder match? Put both titles up top.
Match, or I'm not coming back. Now I want to go back to Japan so bad. So I mean, a lot of positive things happened in 2020. A lot of positive things happened in 2020. I redefined myself as a woman. I redefined myself as a wrestler, like in all aspects, man. In all aspects. NWA really forced me to find that aggressiveness and that passion that I brought when training, when doing my stuff in MMA, and just really figuring out who I am as that, and I remember one time my MMA coach I was like really down, and then he like grabbed me. He's like, "You need to stop feeling that way." And I was like, "Why, coach? Why?" I'm like, Are one of the most strong women I ever met in my life. Because at first he didn't know what I was doing for a living, and then he watched WoW actually, and he was like, "You are absolutely insane. How can you be doing all those moves?" And I'm like, "I don't know, coach. That's the reason why I can't move half the time." So like things like that, and then when I started talking to him about becoming more involved in starting or revamping my own promotion and helping other women of color, he was like, "Yeah, go and do that." And then he gave me this book for me to read called Hood Feminism, and how like the feminism of women of color is completely different than the feminism from our white women, and why we still like as women of color we continue to struggle even more in society, just regular. I'm not even talking about professional wrestling. I'm just talking regularly. But a lot of those concepts really apply to professional wrestling. There is still a lot of discrepancies between who is being pushed in big companies and who is still like kind of like mid card or low carders or like enhancement talent, which is fine, but still it's like I feel at this point in life, we as women should be given more opportunities in major companies. I mean, the talent is there, definitely. They have shown in NXT that the talent is there. You just need the
Yeah.
time.
It's so true, and that brings us to, of course, Mission Pro Wrestling. So, first of all, how did you come up with this, with the name, and what's been like your driving force to putting this all together? Because I know it's something that you're very much passionate about.
It's a lot of the stuff that happened. It was like my husband just like feels in the heat of the moment, like, "Let's do this," and I was like, "Bro, like we need a plan." He's like, "No, let's do this," and I was like, "You already announced it on Facebook. Like, can I breathe? Can I create a Facebook page? Can we do? No, let's do it now." And I'm like, "All right, yeah, that's what happened. Like that's just exactly what happened. Like exactly what happened." So I was like, "Man," so we like pull hell of stuff out of our ass and booked the show. And we've done it before, so I mean, at the first week, it's like, God damn, what I got myself into, and that's like, but I got myself into the right thing. It was right after the Speak Out, and again, this is part of like keeping a lot of the female talent safe
Yeah.
and re-educating people in the business that it's not okay to have this mentality and where like, oh, he's like that, oh, she's like that. They're just like that. It's fine. They always do that. Like, no, it is time for us to like take steps, baby steps or big steps to make a change. And on the next, in the locker room, all the ladies are in the locker room. No men are not allowed in the locker room. Period. We don't want this. I was in the locker room changing. The guy was looking at me, and then this one thing went to another. Like, I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to feel comfortable if somebody's like harassing them or somebody's like mistreating them, they can come to us and we can, help them on find ways and where they can find a voice and feel comfortable and feel they're not afraid of being blackballed. So and have a conversation. I mean, not you can't have conversations with everybody because their mentality never gonna change, and no matter what you do, and no matter if the truth is right in front of their face, they're still not gonna do it. So, but it's just changing that mentality and working with people that have the same values and believe in that to do something else. And for us, Mission Pro Wrestling is not only your typical indie pro wrestling that features women. It's a learning experience, and it's I feel like a lot of the girls that we are working with, they're not used to doing podcasts. They're not used to like promoting themselves the way that we kind of like, all right, girl, here's my podcast. There you go. But it's a lot of the times we need to understand this is part of our jobs. In order for us to become successful and for people to know who we are, you have to practice your social skills. And now your social skills is not selling a T-shirt or selling a picture on a show, because there's very few shows and there's a lot of the times there's no contact. So now what do you have to do? You have to go online and engage with the fans and be like, hey guys, I'm pretty awesome. So therefore, buy my shirt on www.thunderrosa.net, which I have the shirts, by the way. So things like that, and it's gonna take some time. And a lot of our young talent, they're struggling a lot with their interviews. They're very shy. but it's gonna take them 20 interviews before they start feeling more comfortable and be like, hey, my name is Jasmine. I'm from Austin, Texas, and I've been doing all these things, da 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 da, and like blah 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 blah. It's gonna take some time. I mean, I am very good at doing interviews because I work in social work, so I had to interview people all the time and make them feel comfortable with. So with all that and with all the skills that a lot of our staff and our women are bringing to the table, we're making something different. And the support of every woman in every state in the country and in the world is overwhelming. And the same with like you, who are one of our sponsors, what that believes in what we're doing. I mean, like I was telling you off the record, thanks to uh, the sponsorships, we're now going to be able to own our own stuff, own our own ring, own our own production stuff. So it takes a little time before, we are going to get to where we're going to get. But without your guys' help and you guys' support and you believing in what we're bringing and the passion that we're bringing into the table, we wouldn't have anything. This will come completely and utterly out of my pocket, and I will have to work even harder in the indies or whatever I'm doing to make this dream come true, which is again is to bring other professional wrestlers and that we're in the business and talk about what do you do after wrestling. What should you be thinking while you are hot right now for the future? Because you might get pregnant, you might get you might get a really good job, like or what are the goals that you're working on outside of wrestling that are gonna make you feel comfortable, that are gonna build your confidence. So it's all about building confidence. It's all about building each other up, not tearing each other apart. Yes, the ring stuff is important, and that's another aspect that we're working on because we want all our girls that are working with us to have opportunities on TV, to be ready when they go to AEW and do a dark match, know what to do, and not shit the bed. Because we want them to be respected. It's not like, it's a match, guys. Like, no, we want them to be like, oh yeah, that girl, I've seen her. Like, ooh, this is gonna be a good match. So that's what we want. And a lot of the girls, they believe in what we're doing, and they have invested in themselves and coming with us. And we're trying our best to give them as many opportunities for them to create work and create a little bit of money. And then the other part that we have on Mission Pro Wrestling, the custom matches, which we are taking orders, by the way. We need more orders. So, and we're selling custom matches. We're selling the show on single matches and the whole show. So it's like continuous creating. It's not like, again, I'm being completely transparent on what we're doing, and I think that's important. And everything that we will save to create more opportunities in other aspects of professional wrestling with networks that we have with, our agent who's Jazz. He knows a lot of people. I know some people. Our booker, Robin Rich, he knows people in Florida. She maybe can help some other girls here in Texas to get bookings in Florida. I mean, I know plenty of people in different parts of the states. And I mean, even if I have the time and I have to like rent a van and all the girls, 5, 6 girls, we go out there and drive and do a tour. Like that's what we do. That's how you build a real sisterhood. And it's not the typical. You want to have a match with me? You want to, do the work, make you look good? No, that's for me. That's not it. For me, it's giving back and really creating a community where people feel like they're taken care of, and therefore they're going to take care of somebody else, and therefore they're going to speak out, or they're going to stand up for themselves and be like, no, that's not okay. Like this is how I'm used to it. This is what we do. But it takes time, and it takes people that can help you with your confidence and help you that you can be assertive without being considered a bitch. That you can be assertive for yourself and for your family and passionate about it without being disrespectful to other people. So that's important. And those are values that I feel like a lot of schools they focus on teaching you the wrestling part of the business, but they don't teach you like all the very intricate parts that can make you a more successful entertainer and professional wrestler.
It's so true. Like you guys have been, like you said before, very transparent with everything going on, and that's made people like myself want to help and want to be a part of this because it's something that you could tell that you're passionate about. Other wrestlers that we've talked to from Mission Pro Wrestling, like Vert Vixen and Lacey Ryan, they're all passionate about this one common goal, and it's all about not only elevating Mission Pro Wrestling but women's professional wrestling in general. So that's why you gotta love the enthusiasm that everyone has about this.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's one of the challenges and main challenges that we set is like we want you to have one of the best matches that you ever had with whoever you are in the ring. I want to make sure that the people that were working with us, that when they see their matches, they're like, holy Jesus, that's one of the best women's shows we ever seen. There's a lot of other women's shows, but we want to have the best wrestling in the country, if not in the world. So because it's out there, we put it out there. It's being broadcasted live. Some of those matches are gonna be broadcasted on TV with some of our sponsors that have TV shows, and they want to use their stuff. So I don't think I stress it enough how important it is, even though it is an indie show, that you act like it's a TV show, because you never know. Maybe this match will be used for you they're gonna see you somewhere else on WWE. They're gonna see you in Japan. They're gonna see you in London. You never know who's watching. So for me, that's very, very important. And yeah, they're gonna be like, man, Thunder is crazy. I'm not crazy. I am self-made. And even though I have a strap that is a very prestigious and very historical, I could be sitting on my ass doing absolutely nothing, just collecting money, but I'm not. I am showing what a real champion should look like.
Yes. You really bring that traveling world champion feel that NWA was like built on with Mission Pro Wrestling, and then you had your time in All Elite Wrestling. Tell us overall about your experience there. What your kind of status with them right now is.
Let me start with the status. I don't know. So the experience, it was great. I have my book. I was gonna read something I wrote in my book. It was great, man. I learned a lot. I met a lot of wonderful people that were people that I never thought I would. I got feedback from some of the legends. Dean Malenko, he gave me feedback. I really enjoyed it. I created a really strong bond with Serena Deeb, stronger than just like, hey, how you doing? It's like we see each other in the eye with respect, and we're so excited. We're gonna have a match again in Primetime Live, October 27th, which I am very excited about. I'm just excited to be back on the road. I've been sitting on my ass for the last 30 minutes. Working a pay-per-view, coming in hot and in main kind of like main event status, and performing, showing, and having your fans still talk about it. Bring Thunder Rosa back to AEW. That's very awesome. And then having another bigger cross promotional thing going on here. It's really big. I mean, you don't see that as often as you should. But again, I was telling you, you reminded me, I did cross promotional with Lucha Underground and WoW with the smaller scale, and I was like NW and AEW. So having to meet Tony Khan and seeing some of the old faces and just seeing the different dynamics that each company have. Again, it's a learning experience, a learning lesson, and that's all that I can take, regardless of any negative experiences. Again, in every single place that you experience, you have to take that you have to learn from the negatives. Take it and see how you can change that to make it into a positive. For me, making it into a positive is like every time I'm in the ring, I am going to show why I'm one of the best in the world and why I always care. I care to make my opponent look good no matter what happens, and not hold grudges with absolutely anybody. If they want to hold grudges with me, fine. That's their prerogative. Like I was telling you earlier, sometimes you can talk to people and tell them even when the truth is right there in their face, they're not going to listen. So that's why it is so important for me as a woman of, I will say as a woman having power right now, power and perspective, to show the young girls and some of the ones that I have worked with before that it's very important to come humble and without an ego into the ring. That's number one. Number two, that no matter what happened, You shake it. You shake each other's hand. Thank you very much. This is what happened. I'm sorry. Apologize. Learn. And move on. So you don't do the same thing on your next match. And third, work your ass off. It doesn't matter what the status is gonna be in the future. That moment right there, you work hard and you show why you are the shit. You are who they need to sign. The person that they're like continue to underlook. Show them and keep showing them, because your opportunity will come one day. And that's to me, that's those are the lessons that I took from working at AEW.
What was like the biggest difference? Because, like you said, you've pretty much worked everywhere before this. So, what was the biggest difference, like behind the backstage, behind the scenes, from AEW to everywhere else you've worked?
They're very chill. Like I said, everybody has a different community. I enjoy it. I mean, I can't really get into details because I want to be respectful of the kayfabe. I enjoy it very much, and I enjoy the fact that when I was there, I was able to train with some of the girls that I never worked before, and we have become partners. And some of them are working at Mission Pro Wrestling at Red Velvet. Who else have them from there? Who all came to our first show.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what it's all about. Is the networking and the connections. And like I connected with a couple people from production, and they were absolutely great. I was actually a gazillion questions about how business, what are they doing, why are they doing production, and they were very, very kind and very open. And that's what it's all about. You go there to learn, because you never know when it's gonna be your last match. Like I was reading Moxley's interview, and he was talking about a podcast that he did. He was talking about he wants to wrestle until he can no longer move, but he knows that it can be over tomorrow. But in the meantime, he wants to have as fun as possible. So that's kind of like me. Like I want to wrestle until my body, I'm able to still run and still look really good. So I don't want to wrestle until I'm 60, 70. You know, I've seen it in Japan, and it's just like crazy. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I don't, and I want to do everything and learn everything from the business, because it's not only what you see in the square circle, everything else. And I'm like I said, I'm very open minded, and my mind is just like every day I'm coming up with like I should write all these ideas and implement them. How to like be more creative? How to be more of an asset for a company than just being your typical wrestler. There you go.
And you are not the typical wrestler like we talked about with Mission Pro. You kind of got your Booker's hat on, so I'll ask you to put your Booker hat on, because I see your tweets all the time, and you ask very interesting questions to your fan base. So I'm gonna throw one of your questions back at you. 5-on-5 of any women from any generation, Survivor Series, yes, okay. Survivor Series style. I'm throwing it right back at you.
You want to know the truth? There is a team that is my husband running my Twitter, and he asks those questions, and I can never answer them. So like yesterday, there's like 400 responses that I see in and then put gifs on it, and I'm like literally like in the gym, like, what is this? You know. So he asked that question.
Hey, you couldn't answer it. All right. So I'll make it shorter for you. For a 2-on-2, a tag team match, and you can't pick yourself, but okay. You could pick any woman from any generation, Mexico, Japan, dead or alive. 2-on-2 tag team matchup. Who would you put in there? To main event Mission Pro Wrestling. Who would you put in?
All right, cool.
And it doesn't matter what promotion they work for or work for.
All right.
We asked the difficult questions on Tru Heel Heat.
Marcela and Sarah Stock.
Yeah.
First, Miko Satamura and let's say Kana.
Ooh, okay. All right. I like that.
I'm gonna fuck you up kind of type of match. So that's one. American style. All right, let's put Sarah Del Rey. Another really good. I'm really looking for good workers.
Sarah Del Rey is one of my all-time favorites.
Sarah Del Rey. Dude, this is a hard one.
I like to have these hard questions. So this is how you remember people like me.
Because they're both from NorCal.
You said who?
Christina Von Airy.
Okay.
There is like the big one, and Christina's the small one. Against, damn, bro, damn. This is just like, man, I hate you right now.
This is what I like to hear. That's that Tru Heel Heat.
It had to be like Jordan Grace and Lufisto.
Ooh.
Those two versus those two. Fuck yeah.
That's a banger. Those are two banger matches. Two banger matches for sure. I love it. So, my final question for you, since this is Tru Heel Heat, we love to ask this question. This is another difficult one for you. All time, your experience as a fan, your experience as a wrestler, what is the all-time best heel moment that you can remember? Whether it was from yourself, whether it's from another wrestler that you worked on, or a show that you saw, what's your best heel moment that you've seen?
Heel moment. It wasn't like really heel, but it kind of was because he retired Ric Flair. Shawn Michaels. Like, I was talking to one of my friends in MMA. I was, dude, remember when Shawn Michaels retired Ric Flair? He was like, yeah, dude, I remember. I was like, that's the only time I cried in professional wrestling. I swear to God.
Ow.
I cried. I was like, don't do it. Don't fucking don't do it. And then he like freaking came out. I was like, bro. That, and then when Eddie Guerrero was messing with Rey Mysterio's son when he was a little kid, telling him that was, I was like, bro, this is like fucked up. Like, this is like messed up, man. And he was so good at it, and I'm like, oh my god, like how they like intertwined their personal, and like it was great. It was great.
It is great because we get to see Dominic now wrestling, so that's a great moment to mention. So right there.
But I was watching. I don't remember how it came up in my timeline and stuff, and I was like watching the video, and I was like, wow, this is some messed up shit. I mean, the little kid, like, and Dominic was good at acting too, so it was great.
Those are two great heel moments. I could just imagine you when Michael said, "I'm sorry, I love you," and you're like, "I love him
too." Because the whole how they build up to the match. Yeah. I think I was following back then. I was following that, and it was really, really moving. But I was crying my ass out. Like I was like, that right there is like storytelling. I'm like, man, that thing was good. I mean, I still remember how I felt, and it gives me chills. I was like, bro, why did you retire him? And then he came back on TNA. But nobody remember when he got retired.
At least we got the Jay Lethal promo out of that. So.
Oh my god! Yes. Sometimes I just keep tagging him, and that was like the best moment ever.
The only thing that made Flair and TNA worth it for sure. So. Thank you so much for this interview. Please tell everyone watching at home where they can find you on social media, any way they can contact you, and of course, one more plug for Mission Pro Wrestling and especially Tournament Out of Hell on November 6th.
I'm going to start with that. It's missionprowrestling.net, www.missionprowrestling.net. We are almost at 50% capacity. So if you don't get your tickets now, you're probably not going to get tickets at the door. So we have about 85 tickets left. So there's not a lot. All the VIPs are sold. So nice. It's going to be a banger. Like, you are not expecting what's going to happen. So go to www.missionprowrestling.net. All the information about where it's going to be streamed is there. That's on Title Match Network. That's where we're going to be streamed. If you didn't watch our show before, you can go on our website and purchase single matches or purchase a whole show. Whatever you guys want. Whatever you guys want to do. You guys have that option, and the match will be yours. Download it, get it, keep it on your phone, whatever. Show it to your friends. It's all that. All our merchandise there too, which I have the hat. I have 2 different hats. They're all available. They're sent all over the world. Remember when we make all the money from matches, custom matches, all that goes back to our promotion. Remember, guys, we want to do this self-run and self-sufficient, so we can give more jobs to other people and we can pay them their money. Okay, now myself, watch me on www.youtube.com. I have my YouTube page right there. So all videos. So if you don't know me, go ahead and watch all that stuff. It's some good content. Then I have www.thunderrosa.net. All my merchandise, like this, all kinds of stuff is there. I'm uploading new stuff next week. I'm waiting for the t-shirt because I had them back order. Never again. If I put something, because I have it and I want to send it to y'all. And I also have this really cool water bottles. I don't have it. I send my car. If you go to the gym or whatever, I'm selling water bottles, stickers, t-shirts, masks, dolls, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. You can find it there. I also have, feels like I did this in a podcast with you. I do Skype calls. They're a little expensive, but I do Skype calls. So just send me an email or send me a submission form. I give you all the information. I also sell custom photo shoots, whatever you guys want. That is on my boundaries, of course. So it can be professional, my phone, whatever you guys want. And what else do I do? My handles at Thunder Rosa 22. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and definitely on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram. I just want to thank you for being our sponsor, and absolutely everybody. We're still accepting sponsors. I will be accepting sponsors for my banner because, as you can see, I have a lot of podcasts, and your business can be broadcasted all over the world, And I'll be making that announcement probably next week. So I'm getting a new banner. It's like you guys seen that banner the whole entire year. It's time for it to change. So. And I think, you know what? Now for all my shows, I'm just gonna have 2 people walking with my banner on every single show, like a professional fighter. I think that will be so
You
cool.
should.
I've never seen that before. Maybe I should start that. So now you know.
The light bulb right there. I love it.
Like legit. Like yeah, give me a massage and shit, and just walk. As long as I can do it, that'll be great. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And thank you so much for this hour-long interview.
Yes, this has been one of our longest interviews, but we got so much information from you. Thank you so much for your time. You are one of my favorite professional wrestlers, so it's been an honor to speak with you. So thank you so much.
Likewise, and you're welcome. And again, thank you so much for being our sponsors. We're more than welcome to have you guys back next for the show. And then we'll give you all the information for all the future shows, probably in the next 2 weeks.
Sounds great. So for you all at home, please go out your way to order on Title Match Network Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell on November 6th. You can go to their website and you can get their past show and keep up to date with Mission Pro Wrestling because it's all about elevating women's pro wrestling and pro wrestling in general and bringing us all together. And Thunder Rosa is doing such a great job and she is so passionate about it. You want to support her. And of course, follow her on all the social media platforms. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. So for this video, give us a thumbs up. Share it with all your wrestling friends and fans. Comment down below. Tell us what you think. Tell us all the good things that you want to find out about Thunder Rosa in the future. I know she is very active on all social media platforms, so you can reach out to her. Push the iCard to subscribe and the bell below that to stay notified for all the great content right here on Tru Heel Heat. So this has been Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes with Thunder Rosa. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. We are signing off until next time.
This edition of Tru Heels BTR Between the Ropes is brought to you by Mission Pro Wrestling. Mission Pro Wrestling Tournament Out of Hell is coming up on November 6th live from Rudo, Texas. Get your tickets now. They're available on the Mission Pro Wrestling Twitter page. And of course, you can watch it if you are not in the Texas area live on Title Match Network.